And I guess we all got an insight into how different the sport was back then and how sponsorship and so on was just beginning to come into it. But it was a very different sport. But like I said, we've all had our eyes open to that era now, more so in the last few months.
Well, here again, you have to expect that our sport, just like all the other professional sports, would evolve. And as you just mentioned, as it becomes more commercial, you know, a lot of other things are happening. I mean, good things, because it's very expensive to be able to just continue on the technical side, and the sponsorships, you know, the support that you get from companies that want to be part of it, obviously helps you achieve all of those goals and do all those things. And that's what, that was the beauty of Formula One, who has taken advantage of that in every way. And Formula One, of any of the motorsports disciplines, you know, like MotoGP, has remained very pure, because there's no cookie cutter here. There's no spec series here. You got different engines. You got every team is its own manufacturer, and again, all of this is very expensive. And as you say, as the sport evolved and you got more sponsorship involved, allowed you to do that. And so Formula One has satisfied every aspect of our sport, in my opinion. You know, you can appreciate the racing itself, you know, the wheel-to-wheel, all that stuff, but one thing that personally has kept me motivated also as a driver is the technical side. You know, you're out there, you watch Saturday qualifying, for instance. You have probably 3 different manufacturers. Let's just pick 3 different manufacturers. They will be within a tenth of each other. You know, and the cars look different. They were designed by a different designer and different mechanics and a different organization, but it will be within a tenth of one another. Last year, this whole race, there were no yellows, nothing to regroup the field. This whole race was within half a second between first and second. Now that's the beauty of what the technology of Formula One has to offer. And it's a very leading edge. And so these are the things that I think are, to me anyway, that added interest.
I just want to quickly go back to, I mentioned Rush, but we were talking earlier, and of course, if you all saw it, of course, the great battle between James Hunt and Niki Lauda for the championship in Japan. But don't forget the guy who won that day. What was that driver's briefing like, seriously?
Well, quite honestly, it was the weather just coming up to the start of the race. Talking or are we talking? At the start of the race, the skies just opened up, and as all of the drivers, we all went into the meeting room, and we asked the organizer to delay the race for at least 30 minutes, and they refused. They said, no, the race will go on as advertised, so that's it. We had to just buckle in. And in all of my days in the sport, before or since, conditions were never worse as far as not just, you know, the wet, but the aquaplaning, because the Fuji had a very long straightaway, very wide and very undulating, and there was a lot of, you know, water, like, you know, big, huge puddles, and so we knew we were going to have a hell of a time just to stay on the tarmac at the beginning, and I started on pole there, and so I took off, and then I figured, you know what, somebody has to blaze this trail. I sort of dropped back to about third, and then, you know, just kind of stayed around there for a while until things started to quiet down a little bit, and I took the lead again, and then I went off. And James, you know, he dropped back a little bit, then he tried to catch me, then he just had a problem with the left front tire. He actually shredded it. He just wore it down. He was trying a little bit too hard, I think. And And then sort of when he had to make the stop, you know, then the onus was on me to try to keep those wet tires alive for the rest of the race, which, you know, I sort of managed to do. Patrick Depailler in the Tyrrell, he was also right at the very end, he decided to go in and put slicks on. But at the end of the race, actually I was a lap ahead of both of those guys. So I won the race by a lap. Russ didn't give me that credit.
I'm going to say,
I'm
I'm glad you told that story.
But it showed at the end there that actually if you Google or go to Yahoo, it will show that at the end, Depailler was coming up on me, and I almost let him unlap himself, but I, you know, crossed the line first. So I finished a lap ahead of both of them.